Mic check, mic check. Okay, sorry about that. All right, we'll start over. Meteorologist Zach Scott, meteorologist Stephen Elmore, and meteorologist Bella Grace here tracking thunderstorms moving in this morning. Not every storm is going to be severe, but like we talked about, a few strong to severe storms will be possible here this morning, and we're seeing that now. We've got one strong storm in Washington County, and then we've got another one pushing into Haskell, Latimer counties. Heads up to you. And then we're also thinking down the line, the storm has every reason to probably hold together. Now, will the rotation stay strong? Will it stay broad? We'll have to watch that, but we will watch this strong storm continue to likely push into LaFleur County. So if you're in Poto, Topeka, and areas south of I-40, heads up, we've got a severe storm coming our way. There has been some rotation with this storm. We haven't seen or had any reports of a confirmed tornado, but the rotation so strong here, and we're seeing some lowerings with this storm. We've had some reports of that we're just going to continue to keep our eyes on it. Also going to share this on my social media as well to make sure we're getting the information out there as much as possible. So we're kind of doing this live with you here. Again, if this warning continues into LaFleur County, then we'll go live on air as well as on social media. Okay, let's see what the National Weather Service is thinking as well. All right, we'll start here with the storm moving into Haskell County. Let's pull up velocity. Again, a lot of lightning here and a lot of rain. What you can't see inside that rain is an area of rotation that we're watching. At the very least, we have some strong winds coming in here, potentially 50, 60 miles per hour. So we have to watch that. But you can see the reds and the greens in there. So if we're going to have a tornado trying to develop, which is possible here, it's going to be right there on the county line, moving off towards the east. This is to the south of Stigler. This warning is going until 9:45, and it's moving east around 25 miles per hour. If you want to put a track on that, Stephen, again, meteorologist Stephen Elmore here, let's track out this area right here, and let's move it east, and let's move it into LaFleur County and see what that track looks like. Again, moving pretty slow here, but strong storm moving through Eufaula, Crowder. This is in eastern Oklahoma, and there's Fort Smith. There's the Arkansas state line. There's Poto. If it holds together, it's going to come close to Poto, but it's got a little while. 11:23 is if it can hold together around 25 miles per hour. So that's still a little bit about 39 minutes away, so we're going to continue to track the storm out for you. And again, guys, if you see anything pop up on chat with any trackers, anybody out there that's actually got eyes on this storm system and they see something, please jump in here. And we can leave Stephen Elmore's, we can leave his mic on if we can. Stephen, are you seeing anything that you notice?
Right now, you see those two warnings stacked on top of each other. Again, this is just for the rotation that they're seeing right now through radar sites out of Tulsa. So nothing's confirmed right now. But one of the signs that we look for, Zach, obviously you know, is all the lightning ticking up in that area. Yeah. So this supercell is growing. We just got to wait for it to start to, if we start to see stronger signs of rotation, that's when we could see a sign of possibly dropping down a tornado.
Absolutely. And again, I know when we first started, I had a little mic issue there, so I don't know if you heard me, but we had that cold front that came in, kicked up the thunderstorm activity yesterday, late day into the evening. That front is stalled out. And usually we talk about building in instability as we go through the day. We have a lot of instability already here, a lot of energy, a lot of fuel. We don't have to build it in today. It's just already here. And those storms are tapping into that. And this storm is riding along that boundary. And when you have that happen, as meteorologists, we know that could be a little area of enhanced spin. And that's what this storm is tapping into. So again, we have a tornado warning here for Haskell County. We're live on social media. We're going to continue to track it out. Let's zoom out just a little bit so people can see exactly where we are. You can see Fort Smith, Van Buren. You see the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line right here. Here's LaFleur County. Here's Poto. Here's the area of rotation that we're watching it. It's a little broad right now, but we'll watch to see if it tightens up. Regardless, you do have strong winds coming in on the backside of this storm. That's what those brighter greens are. So the potential for some damaging wind gusts certainly there. It's just outside of our viewing area here this morning, but it's getting closer. So we're going to be tracking it until this storm weakens, fizzles out. I don't think it's going to weaken. I think it's probably going to stay strong as it moves through. Now, is that area of spin going to tighten up? I can't say for sure, but we're going to keep our eyes on it. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in Washington County, and we'll take a look at that one. Right now, not looking as impressive. When it was coming out of Adair County into Washington County, had some brighter greens there, but that's what we're looking at, potential 50, 60 mile per hour winds. We can zoom in a little bit closer on this one right here. Thank you, Stephen. This is moving off towards the southeast around, do you have the speed on that?
Let's see here.
You can click on it and we'll see. Yeah.
45 miles per hour.
Can we draw out a track here, and we'll go ahead and give folks an idea. It looks like the winds are turning a little bit more southeast, so strong winds, Highway 71 right now, Washington County, Crawford County. It's moving about 45 miles per hour. It's moving more southeast here, so we'll take this out for you. Potential of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts here. Even if it's just 50 mile per hour wind gusts, that's strong enough to create some damage out there. We're going to watch this storm moving into northeastern Crawford, eventually Franklin County, moving about 45 miles per hour, puts these potentially damaging wind gusts in St. Paul around 10:01, 10:10 for West Cobb, Mulberry 10:11, Ozark 10:26, Altus 10:33, Coal Hill 10:39, Clarksville 10:46. We're talking about some damaging wind gusts moving through the Winslow area, Chester, Highway 71. This is southern Washington County. There's Fayetteville. You're not in the warning. This is for a severe thunderstorm warning. Washington, Crawford County, potentially moving into Franklin County. We'll see if the National Weather Service holds on. Again, the winds did look a little bit stronger, maybe out towards the west, but still at least some 40 mile per hour gusts I would expect here with this cluster of storms moving out. Can we reset? Because we kind of jumped right into that tornado warning a little bit. Let's do the full view. Perfect. This is what we're tracking here. Potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday morning with a few strong to severe storms mixed in here. We have a very unstable atmosphere across the majority of the area, but especially the River Valley South. This is where you have maybe a little bit more instability, a little bit more ingredients coming together for some of these severe storms to really pulse up to an extra level here. And that tornado potential is greater. It's not high, it's not off the charts, but if there was an area that we're going to highlight that was best, it would likely be the River Valley South. There's just extra ingredients coming together here, and these storms are trying to tap into every bit of that. Steven, seeing anything?
Yeah, they just posted something in chat. You just mentioned basically what they said. The severe thunderstorm warning that we have right now in portions of southern Washington and into Crawford County, it's just a wind threat that they're looking at right now, but they're still looking at some low-level rotation in that tornado warning right now, just outside of our viewing area. But if that is continued, the next stop that's going to go into is going to be into LaFleur County, potentially into Poto.
Yeah, so we're going to have to track it. I mean, it's moving about 25 miles per hour, but it's getting close here. We've been watching this cluster since we started earlier this morning, way back in Oklahoma City. It's taken some time. It has not been in a hurry, but now it's knocking on the doorstep here. You can see some inflow. That's where you got the warm, moist air going in. You've got the strong winds coming in on the backside. Looks like they have a severe thunderstorm warning with that, too. I'd imagine for the potential of some 60 mile per hour winds. We can see.
That's for 70 mile an hour winds, quarter size hail.
Okay. Yeah, this is the strongest storm in eastern Oklahoma, western, northwestern Arkansas. Not even if you take the tornado warning away, this storm is the strongest one, has the best structure, a lot of lightning, like Steven pointed out. Every couple of scans, you're just seeing more and more of those lightning strikes showing up. That just means you have a healthy storm. That's intensifying. It's getting stronger here, so we're going to have to really watch it closely as it's moving across Haskell County. Circulation likely staying just to the south of Stigler. And again, we have the strong winds coming in here, so you could get 50 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts within the severe thunderstorm warning area, and then likely some strong winds coming into Quinton. You could have some damaging wind gusts there. And then we're watching right there. It's trying to tighten up, isn't it, Steven? Getting closer, getting those reds and those greens a little bit closer right there. This is some rural areas here of Haskell County, but we want to track it out.
Yeah, right now, just from the National Weather Service, again, they're just watching that low-level rotation. Nothing's confirmed yet. That tornado warning is only being issued because of that tightening of the rotation. But also, we mentioned, with that severe thunderstorm warning right on top of it, those are some very strong winds right now. And wind gusts, we just need that severe thunderstorm warning to creep up to potentially 60 mile an hour. If they're posting that, we could reach up to 70. Straight-line winds could definitely be a concern. Involved in that system, though, is that slight rotation that the next stop will be for LaFleur.
Yeah, and this is something something too. We try to, I know the tornado always gets the tornado warning, or the area with the spin always gets the big headlines, but that would be a very localized area. Now, it could be an issue for wherever it is on the ground, don't get me wrong, but look how much larger of an area could be impacted at the same time with these damaging wind gusts. That's why we can't let our guard down as we track out this storm. That, okay, maybe the rotation it's a little tighter at times, looks like it is, but it's overall broad. But you still have these strong damaging straight line winds that are coming through that we can't forget about as well. So where we get those brighter greens and those light blues showing up, that's where we have to watch the potential of those damaging wind gusts. Those are going to be close. You can see Poto here behind me. It's tracking certainly into the northern half of LaFleur County if it holds together. And again, there's no reason to think that it won't. If it holds together, you're at least going to have some very strong winds close to Poto, potentially damaging wind gusts. And then we're going to watch that area of spin. These storms cycle all the time. You've heard us say that thousands of times. And I think this will be the trend here this morning. We could watch this storm kind of cycle. You know, we could see that area of spin get a little bit tighter, and we could see it weaken, and we could see it get tighter again. And then we're also tracking the potential for some damaging hail, some quarter-size hail right now. All right, Steven's tracking out this cluster of storms. It's moving east. We're watching the potential of a tornado trying to tighten up in there, but also maybe a greater concern as we speak is the potential for some damaging wind gusts, and then also some quarter-size hail. Moving east around 35, 25 miles per hour, puts it in the Poto area around 10:43. It's currently 9:52, so that's plenty of heads up if you're in LaFleur County that we have this cluster of storms moving your way. It is severe, and it's been pulsing up and down for a while as it's been moving east, near and south of I-40. Did have some reports of some stronger wind gusts with this storm back towards the Seminole and Shawnee areas. So it certainly has a history of being able to produce some pockets of hail and some strong wind gusts at times. Barling 11 a.m. Greenwood, if it can hold together, 11:06. Charleston at 11:21. Fort Smith Regional Airport may be on the northern side of this, but we still have some strong winds on the northern half as well. That'll be coming to your area around 10:55.
Right now, they're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning for Crawford and Washington County. Again, strong straight-line winds are going to be a concern with that. Issues another severe thunderstorm warning that will, they're actually just trimming. They extend that one out, possibly into Franklin County now. So yeah, we're getting a new severe thunderstorm warning. But also want to mention, Zach, if you see on chat right there, the National Weather Service is going to go into conference, is what it's called, with the Storm Prediction Center. We possibly could be having a watch on our hands anytime soon. When we get that, we'll be able to let you guys know. But obviously, some strong storms this morning. Really, what we're watching out for is that tight rotation that's going to be moving potentially into LaFleur County next, but also a new severe thunderstorm warning for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley right now that we'll take a look at.
Okay, great job. And then also they had some reports of maybe some tree damage around the Quinton area. That's the area that had those stronger bright greens from the tornado warned storm go right over. So this storm, even if it never tightens up again, it certainly will be capable of producing, as it stands right now, some damaging winds. Overall, we're seeing some of these colors come down, so that's good. We're not seeing as many bright greens, but as Stephen just said, the National Weather Service out of Tulsa still extending out this thunderstorm warning. This is for northern Franklin, southern Madison, southeastern Washington counties, and then northeastern Crawford counties. You know, when we talk about getting ready for severe weather season, we always tell people you got to know where you live on a map, and you'd be surprised how many people don't. How many people don't even know what county they live in. And it's important because that's how we tell you about these storms. We tell you what county has the warning, and then we'll get close to some of those other nearby towns. So it's good to not only know what town you live in, but some of the towns around you. And it's very important to know what county you live in. That's how these warnings are issued on a county-to-county basis here. This thunderstorm we're tracking. Again, the strongest part of it stayed well to the south of Fayetteville. Now, we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms Benton County, Carroll County, into Madison County and Washington County, but the strongest cluster is this one right here, crossing into southwest Madison County. This is right over the Boston Mountains here, so some rural areas, but if you live here, especially with these higher elevations, you start going up in elevation, those winds are going to be even stronger. So you got a good shot here to get some 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of this storm and moving through your area. That's what we're watching here. That storm is pushing eastward, and we're going to continue to track it. Right now, just a wind threat. Probably some pockets of small hail trying to mix in at times, but our strongest storms are down here to the south, and that's what we can go ahead and time out this storm here in Madison County. How fast was it moving again? I know I'm asking a lot of questions.
That's at 45 miles per hour towards the east. So that's a little bit of a southeastern trend right there. I can go ahead and redraw this one. This cell is moving 45 miles per hour to the east, but again, we follow our Facebook chat quite frequently. People are asking about Johnson County. Why is there such that hard cutoff right there? We're in between National Weather Service offices right now, so if they team up, they could extend that warning into Johnson County. I'd say it's probably a good bet right now that at least northern Johnson County is going to see some of those strong storms eventually down the line here. But right now, not in the warning. That's going to have to come out of the Little Rock office.
Yeah, Little Rock has Scott, Logan, Johnson counties, and the good news is for us, the majority of our area is covered by the National Weather Service in Tulsa. Not that they're better than Little Rock, but you ideally would like to have all your area in one region of the National Weather Service, but this is how it is. These offices don't always send out the warnings at the exact same time or the watches, so it can be a little choppy at times, but that's why we're here to fill in the gaps. We can tell you with a warning or without a warning, using radar here and then sometimes using some of our trackers out there, we can tell you what storm needs to be watched closely. This one, whether you're in a warning or not, this is one of the stronger storms in northwest Arkansas, moving through the higher elevations of Washington County, Madison County, northern Franklin County, Crawford County, and then likely, yes, down the line in Johnson County, maybe even Newton County. This storm right here, moving east around 45 miles per hour, capable of producing some damaging wind gusts. Winds have come down a little bit, but certainly could still see some 40, 50 mile per hour gusts. There we go. So there's the radar site south of Fort Smith. We've got green moving towards the radar, red moving away. So it's kind of in that transition zone now where it's not so much moving towards the radar, but it's moving away. So we'll see it transition from green to red. We're going to be looking for those brighter reds. If we see it go from a dull red to a brighter red to a pink, then we know that those winds are increasing. And these storms have lots of strong winds in the mid and upper levels. We just don't always see those winds come down out of the storm and greet us here at the surface. But we're not that far away from the radar site. We're still looking mid-level in some of these storms, but good bet here that at least some gusty winds, 40, 50 miles per hour, have probably come out of these storms as they crossed out of Adair County, southern areas of Washington County. If you're watching us and you're around the Winslow area down towards Chester, Highway 71, these winds came right over you, probably packed a little bit of a punch. If you had some tree damage or anything like that that you can report, let us know. Send us those messages, and we'd love to be able to pass those reports along. We got lots of reports coming in. You see that one with the Quentin storm? Yeah,
so we got some, so let's see here, some single home damage, debris in the Quentin area. So that's going to be associated with the tornado warning that we have right now. So definitely some strong winds just outside of, just west of the floor. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But right now, while we're focusing on this, one that's moving into portions of northern Crawford and northern Franklin County. Again, while the warning is kind of moving into southern Madison County, I think the strongest winds are going to be pushing right into that northern Franklin County area here pretty shortly. You kind of see that dip down of where that green is. That's where those strongest winds are going to be, right along that leading edge where Zach's pointing right now.
Yeah, so again, it's not widespread here where you're looking at the entire polygon, but right in that localized area, that's where we can see those strongest winds. And again, that's moving through the higher elevations. Franklin County, those strong winds right now stay well north of you. Ozark, we'll continue to watch that southeast track towards Batson and maybe eventually Clarksville. It does look like we are going to have a severe thunderstorm watch out for the area. When that comes out, we'll take a look at that for you and see everybody that's included. As far as I can tell, Stephen, it's going to cover pretty much all of 5COUNTRY. Talked about this earlier this morning. If you're with us on 5 News this morning, we could see a thunderstorm watch out here today. They were just waiting to see how many severe warnings we got. If we only had 1 or 2, they weren't going to do it. But it's clear that the atmosphere is conducive here for these storms to pulse up and down at times, especially as these storms continue into this untapped area of the River Valley and the Ouachita's. This is round 1. We have these thunderstorms now. The atmosphere is going to try to reload later today. After this round gets through, if the atmosphere can recover, and it's going to try, and we can get some sunshine to try to break in, there will be another area of lift in the atmosphere that's going to come out of the southwest, and it's going to try to tap into that energy, that instability, that moisture, that fuel. If it can do that, we could have late afternoon, evening, maybe not widespread, but another round of some isolated to scattered strong to severe thunderstorms. We started tracking this one right here in Haskell County. It does have a history of some damaging wind gusts in the Quinton area. I believe that's just to the west of Haskell County. We're watching it, though, really bowing out there too, Stephen, so likely some strong winds with it.
Yeah, strong winds right now, but that notch that you see right there is why they're continuing on with this tornado warning. Again, this is just for radar indicated rotation, so nothing is confirmed right now. We'll start to see that red polygon start to blink up and down, and we'll get information from the National Weather Service if it were ever to be confirmed as a tornado, but this rotation is just tight enough to be able to issue that tornado warning. So I'm going to pull up velocity right now and see if we can still kind of see that rotation. What you definitely can see is this is a healthy supercell. That is a lot of lightning in and around the Stigler area right now. That cell is moving directly east into portions of southern Sequoia County into northern Lafleur County over the next 15-30 minutes or so. So this is the rotation that we're following right here, where you see those reds and greens start to combine. So the Stigler area, definitely just south of it, really strong winds, probably very loud right now. Nothing confirmed, but that's that tightest rotation right now.
Yeah, a couple areas of spin in there. It looks like there's a little area back towards the west. That would be well back into the rain shaft. And then right in here, this leading edge could get some spin. I'll leave my finger here, and then if you'll put it on reflectivity, let's see what that looks like. So that would be right in that area, that notch. So you would get your inflow in there, so you could have an area of spin trying to develop right there. New scan coming in. It looks like, again, the way that this is bowing out, kind of like a backward C, you've got strong wind, so you have a damaging wind threat there. Maybe an older circulation still lingering back towards the west. This storm is clearly cycling here, so we'll see. Again, it is riding a boundary. It's an area that is definitely more favorable for a little bit more spin with these storms here this morning. So we'll just have to kind of see how this one's going to play out, see if they continue this tornado warning into Lafleur County. If they do, then we'll go live on air as well.
So they're trimming down what you see right there, that popping up right there is they're trimming down the tornado warning to get a very specific location of where the highest concern is going to be. This is still a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado at any time. This is for ping pong size hail. Again, radar indicated rotation. This is still just outside of our viewing area, but if they extend this, the next stop is going to be into Lafleur County. That's why we're covering this so closely. While we're here, I'm going to take it out wide really quick. We're not going to show it, but I can read it off to you real quick. There is now a watch in place for portions of Crawford, Franklin, Lafleur, and Sebastian County until 5 p.m. this evening for a severe thunderstorm watch. So again, like Zach mentioned, this is round one. As we go on throughout the rest of the day today, more storms will have the capability of firing up, capable of producing those severe storms later on today. We'll get this cleared out. Zach mentioned it. Could see some sunshine today. That'll refuel that atmosphere. Potentially more strong storms later on this evening. Yeah,
going to try to clear out on the backside, try to get some breaks of sunshine mixed in there. So it's pretty much the river valley into southeast Oklahoma. Now, the National Weather Service out of Little Rock has not issued a thunderstorm watch here with the Storm Prediction Center. These, the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center go in together on those, and then the National Weather Service is the one that actually issues the warnings. Right now, Scott, Logan, Johnson County is not under the watch, but like we just said, Crawford, Sebastian, into Franklin, Sequoia, Haskell, Latimer, Lafleur, we are under that thunderstorm watch as these storms roll in here this morning, and then the watch goes until 5 o'clock. That is about as long as a watch that you'll see. Usually they're issued just for a handful of hours, but you're really thinking about the entire day now. We can't roll out this round of storms and potentially the one later today. If we don't clear out that much and we don't have sunshine breakthrough, there's still going to be the threat for some storms, but that would help kind of lower that a little bit. But we have those ingredients in place, especially I-40 South, that I think will likely keep that severe threat around through the afternoon and even into the evening hours. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning exiting pretty much now is out of Washington County. It looks like the strongest wind should be moving into Madison County and then far northern areas of Franklin County there. We've got the potential for some 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts gusts embedded in here. Winds have overall been coming down a little bit. We'll continue to watch it. We're not seeing those brighter colors showing up like we saw when the storm was moving out of Adair County into Washington County, but still right there, that's the area of strongest wind. So if you live along the Madison and Franklin County line and you're watching us this morning, you have those strong winds moving over top of you right now. They're likely going to continue eastward. Did have that hail core pop up with it. That hasn't lingered. Looks like it dropped a lot of hail out towards the west and southwestern portions of Washington County. This is when the storm was initially warned for some large hail and some gusty winds. Outside of that, we've seen some pockets of small hail with our first couple of thunderstorms earlier this morning. That's what we mainly have for northwest Arkansas, a hail threat this morning with a strong wind gust or two possible. The further south we go, we have the hail, the wind threat, and that limited tornado potential. Doesn't look like we're going to have widespread tornadoes, but enough spin where we could continue those tornado warnings, and they may come and go. They could come and go for a little bit. Anything new, Stephen?
Nothing new out of the National Weather Service right now. They're just continuing. That's a very isolated polygon, I'd say. It's pretty small right now, so it is very defined. They're honing in on where that rotation is tightest right now. So again, while this is just radar indicated rotation, at any time they could go ahead and extend that warning into Leflore County. So that's why, while it's not technically our viewing area, we're keeping an eye on it just because those are not only the strongest winds, we're definitely going to have some of those strong winds capable of producing up to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but also the signs of some rotation mixed in there as well. So we've got two very different cells right now. Across northwest Arkansas, the severe thunderstorm warning that we're following moving into northern Franklin, portions of Madison County right now. Those winds probably peaking up around 40, 50 miles an hour. Still going to blow some trees around, maybe move around some patio furniture. But the strongest winds look to be south of I-40 right now, but tracking eastward into the portions of Leflore County first, and then the rest of the river valley if it can hang on.
Yeah, continue to have some damage reports coming in from the county to the west of Haskell, back near Eufaula, Lake Eufaula. That region back there as the storm was crossing the county line. Definitely had some strong winds with it, and so we have reports of at least a lot of tree damage kind of scattered around, but that was just to the west of Haskell County, so showing that this storm is capable of producing some damaging wind gusts. And then it looks like it's trying to gust out a little bit more, but there's still an area of spin back in there, maybe a little area of rotation back in the middle of that storm. So if there was a tornado developing, we would not be able to see this very heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning there. So that would be hidden way back in the storm. But that leading edge, too, certainly has some gusty winds. I wonder if they don't continue the tornado warning, I could see potentially continuing with a thunderstorm warning downstream. So we'll just have to kind of play it out as we go.
I'm going to go ahead and track this out here to kind of give folks a heads up of timing of all of this. The last thing we had, I'm going to set the parameters to 45 miles per hour east, probably a little bit less maybe. We're going to draw this out and get a track here of at least where the straight line winds could potentially land. If not, we have some rotation mixed in there as well. You've got some time. Let's go ahead and drag this out, and then so the spiral area around 10, just after 10:30, Poto 10:45, Fort Smith. If this hangs on with the strong winds, again, this is going to pulse up and down over the next 30 minutes or so. But if the strong winds get there, we could be looking at around just before 11 o'clock. Greenwood just after 11, Charleston closer towards 11:30. Eventually reaching Branch by just before 11:30 as well. So, folks, just a heads up. Strong storms are moving towards the east. It's all going to depend if they hang on that long to get all the way over to places like Fort Smith, Greenwood, and Branch. Yeah, and short-range guidance earlier this morning did have this cluster kind of tracking across the river valley and the northern areas of the Ouachita is getting a little bit further off towards the south. So we likely will have this thunderstorm continue on. And like Stephen was just saying, it'll likely pulse up and down. The structure on it will change at times, but well, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning. So we knew that they were probably going to issue something with this storm. So that's a good sign, at least for right now. It doesn't mean that we can't get another tornado warning if they start to spot some rotation. But if we're moving from that red polygon, which is that tornado warning, back down to a severe thunderstorm warning, it's enough to where they're not going to continue that tornado warning. The rotation, like Zach mentioned, has gusted out a little bit. It's not as tight anymore. So now we're just going to continue on with the severe thunderstorm warning that does push into portions of LaFleur County now.
Yeah, and then what's the information? You said it's moving 30 miles per hour?
That's going to be moving, so it's slowing down a little bit. Again, that last severe thunderstorm warning was for 45 miles an hour to the east. Now we're down to 30, so signs of weakening maybe just a hair, but now it's moving east at 30 mile an hour. But again, that's the direction it's moving. The wind gusts that are capable of being produced out of this cell is still up to 70 miles per hour, and the potential for half-dollar size hail. So hail threat going up, wind threat going up just a bit.
Yeah, and again, when it was back here to the west, it had some reports of some damaging wind gusts, so it's kind of kept doing that for us. If you live here in Haskell County and you're watching us this morning, and you've had this storm roll through your area and it's moved some things around outside, let us know. If you got some roof damage, let us know. That helps us, and we can send those reports back to the National Weather Service, and it gives everybody a good idea of how strong these storms are, because we're getting one picture here. We can look at it on radar, and we can break it down several different ways, but it doesn't always mean that this is making it down to the surface. So that's why we kind of need those ground reports out there, people letting us know, having those eyes for us and saying, hey, this is what it's doing. So has that hail core with it. It's pulsed up and down, so likely these hail cores will pulse up, develop a lot of hail, and then it can drop it and then kind of reload again, maybe doing that, but certainly producing quite the hail path here across Haskell County. Again, to the south of Stigler is the strongest part of this storm, where we've seen half-dollar to quarter-size hail likely at times. That is tracking towards Poto. So again, LaFleur County, we are tracking those hail cores and the potential for some damaging wind gusts. Could see this try to spin up again, maybe tighten up just a little bit.
Yeah, so that hail core is definitely not an immediate threat for folks who live in the Poto area, the Heavener area, but you've got some time. If that car's sitting outside, you want to get it covered up real quick. The hail threat is still in portions of Latimer and Haskell County, but as that severe thunderstorm warning is pushing into LaFleur County now, that's just giving you a heads up. The potential of some strong straight line winds going to be mixed in there, and now we're upticking the hail just a bit up to that half-dollar size potential. That's definitely going to be damaging. Usually anywhere over a quarter size is going to leave a mark or two. Half-dollar, that could be a little bit dangerous outside, so maybe want to get some things moved around, throw the shoes on real quick, grab some things, pull them inside before that hail core arrives into LaFleur County. They're just issuing that severe thunderstorm warning ahead of that to give you a heads up.
Yeah, and they've reworked the warning up there in Franklin County. Looks like the storm's continuing there, moving east around 45 miles per hour. Still the threat of some stronger wind gusts coming out of this storm. You can see that there. Just some rain right now across Benton County, most of Washington County, and then into Madison County. That's where we have this cluster of thunderstorms there. Strongest part of it, though, the southern half of Madison County, higher elevations of Franklin County. And there you go, new warning coming. That's from Little Rock. So Little Rock saying, hey, this storm's likely going to continue as well. And like we were saying a little while ago, we can tell that this storm was likely going to need a severe thunderstorm warning, certainly holding together here and likely tracking towards Johnson County, Newton County. So the potential of some 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts going to be possible coming out of this storm at times, moving east around 35 miles per hour. Stephen, if you want to get a track together, we could time out that cluster. Yep. And you could go.
I'm dropping it down from 45 to 35 because it's going to be a little bit of a slower mover now. So I want to give those. Again, these are just time estimates of when these strong straight line winds are going to arrive, but they're pretty close to that. When we get that 35 mile an hour range on there, we can kind of see where those strongest winds are going to land next. Like we mentioned, northern Johnson County involved in now. That's coming out of our Little Rock office.
Yep, so we'll take it out of Johnson into Pope County there. You got Newton County, and then again southeastern areas of Madison County. We've got those strong winds, potentially 50 to a 60 mile per hour wind gust, and we're looking a little bit higher up in the storm. Some of these strong winds higher up in the storm going to try to make their way out. Again, we'll be tracking it across these areas, heading your way over the next hour. So again, not moving too quick, but this is our quicker storm compared to the one that was tornado warned for a time off towards the south.
Yeah, I want to get that information out from the National Weather Service. So if we bounce back down to this system that we were talking about just south of the Stigler area, now that severe thunderstorm warning continues into LaFleur, low-level rotation is less defined now. So again, they're not seeing that rotation as tight. That's why they're moving on with the severe thunderstorm warning. Now, there is a tornado tag on that severe thunderstorm polygon in case we start to see some rotation fire back up. If we do, they'll most likely issue another tornado warning, but that severe thunderstorm warning is not only for the strong winds, but also has a tornado possible tag on it, just in case we start to see some rotation fire back up. This is definitely, I mean, Zach, you come in here if you want. This is definitely the stronger cell of the two that we're following right now. One further up towards the north, moving into northern Johnson County, capable of producing wind gusts up to 40, 50 miles per hour, maybe peaking at 60. This line further south of I-40, moving into northern LaFleur County, is producing up to 60, maybe up to 70 mile an hour winds.
Again, has reports of damage back to the west as it came into Haskell County. I would expect that if we had survey teams out there, we had a bunch of eyes looking around southern Haskell County, we would probably see at least some tree branch damage there in the southern half of the area. This storm has really maintained its strong winds, so if it can do it in one county, it can do it again in the counties ahead of it. Let's do this. Can we take the northern end of this at 30 miles per hour? We'll bring it all the way back down, and let's just sweep it east across LaFleur County, southern Sequoia County. Let's take it all the way into Crawford, Sebastian, and we can time out that for you. A lot of lightning there, as Stephen was saying, the strongest storms. Absolutely. The lightning has been ticking up the entire time, too, so showing us that it is a healthy storm. Moving east here, around 30 miles per hour, so it's just now starting to cross into western, far northwestern areas of LaFleur County. Continuing on this track, 1026 Salisal, 1052 Roland, Fort Smith, 1104. We're talking about the potential of some damaging wind gusts. There are some hail cores embedded in there, especially in the southern end of this. We'll have to watch it with a lot of lightning like that. You know it's got some hail up there as well. So the possibility of small hail up to quarter, $half size hail going to be possible. And then Greenwood, 1125, Charleston, 1148, Ozark, if it can hold together and stay on this path, around 1210. Again, giving you plenty of time heads up, 1225 Paris, 1251 Clarksville. We're tracking out this storm. This is the strongest one that we have right now, and it is pushing into deep east central Oklahoma. Another storm further off towards the south. We'll keep our eyes on that for areas in southern LaFleur County, but right now that one's taking a little bit more of a southeasterly turn. Potential for some damaging wind gusts and some damaging hail. This storm has a history of having some low-level rotation, so we'll have to watch that as well, and we're going to continue to keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, we got an update. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm actually going to pop up. We're going to take away radar real quick. We'll hop right back on it, but we got some more counties added to the severe thunderstorm watch. So basically, all of the River Valley now is included into that severe thunderstorm watch until 5 p.m. Like Zach mentioned to you, that is a very large window of time. This is only round one. We're going to see more storms fire up later this afternoon into the early evening hours. So everything you see in pink right now is going to be that severe thunderstorm watch that's going out until 5 p.m. Places mainly south of I-40, but again, the entire River Valley out until 5 p.m. Northwest Arkansas right now left outside of the severe thunderstorm watch. Doesn't mean that we can't see some strong storms later on today. They'll issue that watch if we start to see some signs of needing one later on this afternoon into the early evening. But again, everything you see in pink right now out until 5 p.m. for that severe thunderstorm watch.
Yeah, and I wouldn't rule out, even with some of the thunderstorms that are trying to move back towards Adair County and potentially towards northwest Arkansas, there's some there's some thunderstorms in there, some lightning strikes. There's some stronger thunderstorms on the backside than what we're seeing right now in northwest Arkansas. We just have some steady showers with some lightning strikes. We can throw reflectivity back on there when you get a chance. I wouldn't rule out a storm or two capable of producing at least some small hail with some of these thunderstorms that are trying to track back towards northwest Arkansas. Now, again, what we're going to have to watch and see is how quick can we get these out of here? can we get some sunshine to mix in a little bit later on? Because that frontal boundary is hanging out, and if we could overlay the instability, the CAPE is what we look at, the way we measure it. If we could overlay that on here, you would see there is plenty of fuel for these storms to tap into, and I don't think these storms are going to scour all that out. So it'll really just be how quick can we get these showers out of here? Can we break a little bit of sunshine in before that next wave tries to get going? Even if we don't mix some sunshine in, I still think we could see some thunderstorms fire up. I think northwest Arkansas, late afternoon, evening, if we do see a strong storm or two try to move back in, it would mainly be a hail threat. We'll watch that for you. But again, with the thunderstorm watch the rest of the day for I-40 South, you have the hail threat, you have the wind threats, and a brief tornado or two cannot be ruled out. This is the strongest storm that we're watching. You see how it's got that backward C shape there, so definitely some strong winds coming into western, northwestern LaFleur County. You can see how that's kind of gusting out there, and that's really kind of taken over more than the low-level rotation. It kind of gusted out here a little bit is what it looks like. But that's bad news for us because that just means we have potential for straight line damaging winds to kind of spread out a little bit more with this thunderstorm. So zooming back in on that, looks like the worst part of it will stay to the south of Van Buren, to the south of Fort Smith, but certainly I-40 to the south. You're going to see the rain pick up, the winds are going to pick up. We can look back in there at the velocity. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Can you put it in motion? Maybe put it on an hour loop. I'll give you a second to do that. Put it in motion and kind of see it play out. You see those brighter greens. Now, we were looking a lot higher up in the storm, so certainly some stronger winds out there. But this is the areas that we had the reports of some tree damage. You could also see those reds and greens coming together. That's what prompted the tornado warning that we initially kind of started watching here. And then as it's been moving this way, getting closer to the radar site, so every scan gets a little bit closer. We get a little bit more of a look in the lower levels of the storm. Still seeing those greens right there. So we're seeing those brighter greens showing up. So could still see some 50, 60, up to 70 mile per hour wind gusts trying to sweep across southern Haskell County there and into western and northwestern LaFleur County over the next 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to track it, see if it makes a run towards Poto. Steven?
Yeah, so definitely the wind's still very strong right now. I'm going to zoom in really close here and kind of just along the county line between Haskell and LaFleur. If you live in that area, that's the northern end of where those strong winds are going to be right now, and that's where the strongest winds are going to be located. So that's going to be moving due east. So Poto area, Spiro, you still got some time before those really strong winds start to come in, but it's right on the county line right now. That's why they're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning right now. Again, this is going to pulse up and down. I'd say since we're losing the rotation from that tornado warning that we just showed you from earlier, now that we're kind of on the pulsing down just a hair, still some strong winds in there. We could see that pulse back up over LaFleur County. Just got to keep our eye on it to see if we start to see some of that inflow again, to potentially see some of that rotation. Right now, though, just a straight line wind threat.
Yeah, and it would, maybe we talk about some of those QLCS type of event here with this one. We could see some of those little spin ups on the leading edge of some of these gusty winds. That's what we might have to start watching for a little bit. But when we look at reflectivity, there's certainly some areas further off towards the south that kind of have that hook shape a little bit, so we'd have to watch those as well. Again, riding along this boundary right here, that front that moved in late yesterday and brought us that thunderstorm activity to wrap up our afternoon, really continued with an isolated thunderstorm threat well into the overnight hours. After about 2 a.m., we finally got a break, got the last thunderstorm out of Scott, Logan counties, and that break did not last long. These thunderstorms fired up early before sunrise out in central Oklahoma. We've had our eyes on them all morning long. Rain picking up in Salisaw, not severe. We've got heavy rain further to south. We've got some lightning. Can we put the hail tracker on and see where the hail's showing up? It's been mostly across the southern half. So it's pulsed up and down at times, has a history of producing small hail up to the size of quarters, possibly some half-dollar size hail going to be possible in there, mixed in with some of the larger stones, but that is tracking east. If it can hold together, would be making a run for Poto. We're going to continue to track this one out. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning in northern Franklin and Johnson counties. Not seeing very strong winds, nothing too impressive on radar here, but again, we're a little bit further away from the radar site, so we're looking in here, potential for some 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts. Storm had some stronger winds back towards the west as it came out of Adair County, moved across Chester, down towards Winslow. Really messy here, but just a healthy thunderstorm kind of pushing through, maybe a couple thunderstorms kind of coming together here. This is southern Madison County, Newton County. This is the higher elevations of Franklin, Johnson County, seeing that rain and thunderstorm activity picking up.
Yeah, so we take a look at velocity right now. Again, a lot lower of signatures that we're seeing from our southern end with that cell that's moving into Haskell County right now, producing that hail. Still a wind threat mixed in there, but probably we're in the range of 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts peaking up right now. They just capped that at 60 for that severe thunderstorm warning. The lightning, definitely not as strong there, but it's mixed in there. Zach's hands right over top where that lightning core is the strongest right now in southern portions of Madison County. So you definitely want to use some caution with those lightning strikes, but the wind threat is definitely high right now. I want to pull up the hail cores as well. It's not that impressive right now. If the hail core is impressive anywhere, it's just outside of our viewing area, just on the east side of the Madison County line where you see that light blue. That's where our strongest hail core is. Probably southern Madison County saw anywhere between penny to nickel size hail, maybe come down briefly. Overall, though, it's mainly a wind threat right now. 30, 40 mile an hour winds, definitely on the lower end of the two cells that we have right now. But this severe thunderstorm warning, at least, is going to continue until it pushes out into northern Johnson County and eventually further off towards the east. And
flood advisory there.
Yeah, flood advisory. That's going to be an issue, Zach, throughout the rest of this week. But we're talking about multiple systems every day, really through the weekend. 2 to 4 inches is not out of the realm of seeing total up for the whole week. So we have that flood watch right now across the river valley.
Yep.
Most likely going to be expanded as we continue over the next several days.
Yeah, we had flood watch out just for the possibility of picking up 2 to 4 inches across a good portion of, again, LaFleur, Haskell, Latimer, Sequoia counties. There in Oklahoma, Crawford, Sebastian, into Franklin County, also under that flash flood watch. That's in effect for today. That was anticipated with the morning round coming through, the potential for the afternoon round. We could have scattered showers and thunderstorms kind of lingering in the forecast here overnight. We can't rule out some more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially across the southern half. And then as we get into Thursday, especially by the back half of Thursday, another chance of some storms loading up in Oklahoma, moving into western, northwestern Arkansas. We could see more storms trying to drop into northwest Arkansas Friday morning. And then as we go late in the day on Saturday, another chance for some thunderstorms to try to come in and produce some heavy rainfall. Could be on the stronger side late Saturday night, possibly lingering into Sunday morning. Severe thunderstorm warning moving into LaFleur County. Had been tornado warned for a little while, so we've had our eyes on it, tracking it. And then we've got this severe thunderstorm warning across Madison, higher elevations of Franklin County. Again, potential for some damaging wind gusts mixed in there, and then could have some small hailstones at least with some of the lightning pushing into Newton County. So starting to leave our area, just some scattered showers and thunderstorms back towards the west. We couldn't rule out maybe a small hailstone or two in some of our northwest Arkansas counties. And then a little bit further off towards the south, that's our strongest storm. Yep. And it's going to try to hold together here as we go across the next couple of hours in the river valley.
Yeah, this is starting to creep in its way into western LaFleur County now. And I just want to remind everybody, this does have a tornado possible tag on it. So this has shown history of producing some rotation, and when they are continuing that severe thunderstorm warning, they give us some new information, or they'll drop information. They're still going to hang on to that tornado possible. This is definitely our strongest storm. This is definitely producing the strongest winds. Right now, we're not seeing any signs of some rotation type tightening up, but at any time, it's produced some history of tightening up, so we could see that pop up really quick at any time, and we'll be able to spot that really easily on velocity. Right now, the main threat is just going to be those straight line winds pushing into northwestern LaFleur County right now.
Yeah, and the good news is they've come down. They've come down a little bit, but we are seeing those winds cross the county line, just push through the McCurtain area. So they're heading towards Shady Point, towards Panama. Maybe if they could hold together, could get some strong winds there. Maybe as far north as Spiro. But basically, Worcester up to Podo, Shady Point, Panama, maybe up to Picola. these areas have the highest potential of seeing some of these strong winds out towards the west coming into our area. So we have to watch it too. You could get, again, a little area to try to tighten up on the leading edge of this, but it's kind of gusting out here a little bit. And there's some strong winds mixed in there, but that would certainly be the strongest winds right along the LaFleur and Haskell County line to the northeast of McCurtain.
I'm going to draw out a very small track just to get our folks who's coming up directly next. We've kind of done some longer tracks of if this were to hold up together, but definitely the Poto area, Panama area, that's coming up really quick here with those strong straight line winds.
Yeah, so again, Calhoun 1044, Shady Point 1053. Poto 1059 and Williams 1106. So we're taking it into north central portions of LaFleur County. There's Fort Coffee, there's Fort Smith, Pacola, Highway 271, the casino there right on the state line. Strongest winds may stay just to the south of us, but again, from Poto over to Calhoun and then Milton should be seeing those strong winds coming into your area right now. Has a history of pulsing up and down with those winds, producing some damage out near Lake Eufaula, some tree limb damage out there. Probably had some tree limb damage scattered around Haskell County as well.
Yeah, so right now we're looking at velocity. We just showed you that tracker, so you still got some time in the Panama area, the Poto area. I think folks in Fort Smith, the strongest winds are just going to remain just to the south, probably 271 south is where we're looking as the strongest winds right now. That doesn't mean that we can't see some other areas pulse up. I'm going to move just directly north into Sequoia. While the strongest winds, there's still strong winds involved in there, but a lot of lightning moving into the Brent area pretty soon. Salisaw, you're going to get a lot of those lightning strikes as well. We're starting to see some signs of maybe some stronger winds coming in from the west as well. So straight line winds is definitely going to be the concern over the next 30 minutes or so. Okay. So we're going to take a look at Choctaw.
Yeah, so we're looking to the southwest, so that storm getting a lot closer there. We've got the clouds coming in, not seeing anything too concerning right now, but those clouds are going to get darker, going to be heading this way, and we'll watch. Maybe could even possibly have a shelf cloud out ahead of it. Would be possible.
Looks
a little
like
bit,
it, yeah.
But it's still a little ways away, so we'll keep our eyes on it, see what the structure looks like as it comes in. But the way it's kind of gusting out there, you could maybe get a little shelf cloud out there ahead of it. You got that warm, moist air feeding into the storms, kind of goes up and over the rain, cold air coming out ahead of it, and that can give you that shelf cloud feature. Always does really well on social media. So we're watching this storm, a little ragged the further south. Compact storm, packing a punch though, and has since it developed out near Oklahoma City. So it's been tracking east near and just south of I-40 for a couple hours now, and we're going to continue to watch it. Now, the latest trends are it has weakened some, for sure. We're not going to lie to you and tell you this storm has maintained its strength, because it hasn't. It has weakened some, but still the potential of some strong winds, enough to create a little damage, move some stuff around there in northwestern LaFleur County possible, and looks like they're redrawing out that severe thunderstorm warning for Newton County. That's just to the north of Johnson County there, too, so that's just outside the viewing area, and then that thunderstorm kind of trailing back into northern areas of Franklin County. They may let this expire. How long does that warning go?
I think it goes out till 11, and they've got a special weather statement, which is just below the severe limits for us. So it's definitely trending the right directions for us, going downward. It's downtrending right now. But I want to read something for you from the National Weather Service again. They were following some rotation earlier on, about half hour ago or so, but they're really focusing on a marginal wind threat right now and the potential for some hail with both cells, one in northwest Arkansas and one closer towards northern LaFleur County. So again, while we're not seeing any rotation right now, it's definitely trending on the downward end right now as just a wind threat and a hail threat currently. But those are still some very strong winds, Zach. It's capable of push some things around outside.
Yeah, we still got to watch the southern end of that. Some of those little features there, those little hook features. Got to keep our eyes on those. It doesn't look like anything's tightening up right now, but again, storm had some tighter rotation back towards the west, kind of lost that, maybe gusted out a little bit. We have that little bowing segment there, so showing that we have more of a straight line wind threat currently with this thunderstorm. What's the latest hail here? It was producing quite the hail swath there across Haskell County. Maybe has dropped some a little bit. Can you put that in a 30-minute motion or time lapse? And we'll kind of get the latest pictures here. But yeah, so you can see those last couple of scans fizzling out there. New little hail core taking over northern Latimer County to the east of Wilburton. So we'll have to watch it. Maybe a new hail core trying to pulse up to the south there. Good news is the hail cores come down. So this is the swath here, looking back over the last 30 minutes across Haskell County. Certainly was stronger out there. That's part of that downward trend that we've been seeing with the hail core here and the winds. Now, it's still a good thunderstorm. Got a lot of heavy rain, got some lightning with it, gonna have some gusty winds as they all do. But does it have the severe winds? Does it have the severe hail? It's maintaining it. It's trying to maintain just a little bit. Right now, it seems more like some small hail with the potential of a gust or two, 50, maybe up to 60 miles per hour. So maybe the storm off towards the south trying to strengthen up a little bit. And then we've got this cluster coming towards Poto. Heads up to you. Skies are getting darker out towards the west, and that's going to be moving in. Right now, though, do like the trend. Like the trend that we're heading on, but we'll have to continue to watch and see as the storm gets closer to the radar site south of Fort Smith. We'll continue to get a better sampling. There's the radar site there. The closer it gets, we get a better sampling of the lower levels of this storm. When it was back towards Eufaula, we were getting mid and upper level looks at this thing, but we want to see what's happening in the lowest levels. We know it's got strong winds aloft. We know it's got hail at times, but we want to see when's it falling, when are those strong winds coming out of the storm, and is there any low-level spin? It has a history of some low-level spin or at least some mid-level rotation, likely leading to the signature there strong enough as it was coming into Haskell County. And Stephen, you can chime in on this. That mid-level spin looked tight enough that we likely had, maybe, I don't know that we had a lowering, maybe a wall cloud, some sort of a feature there would have been possible with the signature that we saw when it came into the western areas of Haskell County.
Yeah, that was just south of Stigler a while ago now. Again, this is past 30 minutes or so, and the good news is trending towards just a minor hail threat, some stronger winds involved in this as well. They're still continuing on as of right now with the severe thunderstorm warning. I won't be surprised if eventually we continue, hopefully, to drop below the severe limits if they don't extend it. We'll keep an eye on it, but we have two warnings right now still. I want to focus for folks that are affected by the other warning as well. If we bounce back up into portions of southern Madison County, into portions of Washington County, I think the greatest threat right now, even though that polygon's kind of all over the place, is definitely northern Franklin County into potentially northern Johnson County if it continues that track.
We can look at velocity, we can look at the winds in here, and then we can look at the hail too. Seeing some brighter colors showing up in parts of Madison County going into Newton County now. Again, we're looking at, because the curvature of the earth, we're looking higher up in the storms, right? That radar beam goes out, but it's going to climb in elevation as the earth curves there. So we've got some stronger winds aloft. Is that reaching the ground? Can't say for sure, but we're watching those brighter colors. A little bit further south, definitely got some gusty winds in the higher elevations of Franklin County. And just on those ridges there, those higher ridges, you're going to have some strong winds anyways. So yeah, it's possible. You could have some 40. Maybe 50 mile per hour wind gusts coming through there. So we're watching that for you. Some strong winds trying to creep into maybe extreme northern areas of Johnson County. But the majority of this activity is shifting into Newton County. National Weather Service out of Little Rock taking over with that warning. And when does this warning expire?
Let's see here. I think it goes out until 10:45, so about 7 more minutes.
Yeah. I think obviously the National Weather Service out of Tulsa will let that expire as the storm moves into the Little Rock warning area. So we can hang on with that storm for a few more minutes, make sure nothing changes. Did we look at the hail core there as well?
Let's look at the hail core.
Some small
hail, maybe penny, maybe nickel. But when we see those gray returns coming back, that's the smallest hail that radar is picking up. And it's very spotty too.
Yeah.
Maybe a few places into northern Franklin County seeing some small penny-sized hail and some higher elevation. Overall, though, continuing to trend lower winds, lower in those hail cores. So we're trending a good direction right now. Doesn't mean it can't pulse back up.
Yeah.
But we're in good shape right now.
Yeah, definitely more impressive as it came over Interstate 49, Highway 71. Winslow down to Chester had some stronger winds back that way. Had better storm structure. Looked a lot better as it crossed the state line too. So that's good news. It's kind of weakened, come down a little bit more ragged looking, not too organized, but certainly with that cluster there going going into Newton County, going to have some strong winds. If there's anybody that's able to see us out there, it's right on that county line there. I know there's a few of you folks out there. Let's do a wide look at 5COUNTRY with the reflectivity on and kind of give everybody an update a little bit of what we're looking at. I think this storm is going to be allowed to expire this warning here, and that has about 6 more minutes left. And then we're watching the warning in LaFleur County. That storm getting close to the edge of the warning polygon there, and so we'll have to see if the National Weather Service is going to continue with it. Latest trends, it's been coming down, so it's possible if we don't see it tick back up with some of those winds or the hail core tick back up, may see this expire some. And a reminder too, Stephen, will you remind folks that we have that thunderstorm watch going as well?
Yep, so I'll pull it up here. Gotta find it. So everything you see shaded in pink is going to be that severe thunderstorm watch, mainly for the River Valley. That's going to go out until 5 p.m. this evening. That's a wide. We're at 10:45. We're at 10:40 right now. So we've got several hours in this severe thunderstorm watch, where we're going to see the potential of storms later on this early afternoon into the early evening, potentially firing back up. Some strong storms still possible the rest of the day.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we've got some great meteorologists at the National Weather Service, great meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center, but, you know, we come in as our team and we put together our forecasts all the time, and you know, it's just us, and we see what we break down the atmosphere, what we think it looks like. We look at the storm tracks heading our way, what pattern we're in. But sometimes you wonder, okay, am I the only one that's seeing this? Are we the only ones that are seeing this? We talked about it yesterday, and we talked about it this morning, that we would have the potential of 2 rounds, thunderstorms here this morning, and then the potential, if the atmosphere can produce it, and we think that's possible, some more thunderstorms later this afternoon into the evening. So there we are saying, hey, we have 2 rounds. When the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center issued that thunderstorm watch until 5 p.m., okay, it allows us to say, okay, they see that potential too for some storms early in the day and then some storms later on in the day as well. So it's good to when you can kind of get that confirmation from other meteorologists out there that, hey, we kind of see the same setup that you guys are kind of seeing too. I mean, that storm it doesn't even look like it's moving. It is just raining over the same area. You definitely have some flash flooding potential, low-lying, poor drainage areas there in northwestern areas of LaFleur County.
Right, that's why we have the flash flood advisory right now. The latest update from it is only moving 30 miles per hour. That's a very slow mover. So that means that correlates with why we're seeing a lower hail threat, a lower wind threat. It's still there. We still could see some strong winds move through, but it's becoming maybe a flash flooding concern as that system just sits over the same area dumping rain right now. So that's why we have that flash flood advisory, northern LaFleur County, potentially going to see some heavy rainfall over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so.
Yeah. Again, continues to look down as we look at reflectivity, and that's where we show you the reds and the greens. We're looking at the winds in the storm, not seeing anything too concerning. Definitely have some gusty winds on the northern edge here, but more of a heavy rain threat. So it looks like they just trimmed back the back edge of that severe thunderstorm warning.
And dropped it from capable of producing 7-mile-an-hour winds down to 60 and down to penny-sized hail. So again, following the good trend here, lower winds, lower hail. Now, while we do have these severe thunderstorm warnings that we've been talking about, we mentioned as well, while they're well below the severe limit right now, just a heads up, folks in northwest Arkansas, you're about to get some showers moving through. The Winslow area about to get hit by some heavy rainfall again, maybe a little bit south of Fayetteville, Siloam Springs, definitely getting some of those heavy downpours right now. And this is going to continue to track towards the east. So some heavy showers moving around. If you plan on heading out the door, you could run into a quick downpour or two. Driving in this morning, for me at least, on 49. It is wet out there. It is very slow. So definitely want to take some time this morning. If you're still driving around, take it a little bit slower out there because a lot of water is going to be picked up not only today, but over the next several days.
Yeah, absolutely. And these storms, when they come through, there's so much water for them to tap into, and they're trying to wring out every little drop they can, and it seems like they're doing that very well at times. the ponding can linger for a while. With some of the downpours we've seen here just today, that can linger there for a little bit. And these are days where we typically see a lot of accidents, people just ultimately going too fast for the conditions. Even once the rain stops, the kind of downpours that we have around the area can linger with the ponding on the roads there. So again, we're tracking some scattered showers and thunderstorms here across northwest Arkansas, and nothing is severe. This is below severe limits. Some lightning strikes, some gusty winds with these, but well below severe limits. Maybe can't rule out a small hailstone or two with some of the northwest Arkansas activity we have right now. We have thunderstorm watch out, River Valley South, that goes until 5 p.m. Stronger storms there south of McAllister. Those are going to likely stay just to the south of Leflore County. We've got this cluster of storms slowly oozing its way into Leflore County. We've got that hail core picking up in northeastern Latimer County. A little bit of a hook there too. That's that southern end of that cluster that we kind of have to watch. It may want to try to tighten up a little bit. I'm not seeing any. I've been looking at it over here to the side on reflectivity. I'm not seeing anything imminent.
Not for that cell, but the National Weather Service, while it's well outside of our viewing area, you can see it too, Zach. I mean, the lightning that's south of McAllister, this southern flank of that system is what they're watching right now as the strongest storm. So right now, if it holds its track, maybe extreme southern parts of Leflore County, still miles away from getting to that point. The two warnings that we have right now, 60-mile-an-hour winds is a potential, probably producing around 30 to 40, and a very small hail threat. It continues to trend downward, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see that flash flooding risk still there. It's just sitting over these areas right now, producing a lot of heavy rainfall.
Yeah, and that hail core has picked up a little bit right there. Oh, there you go.
New warning for Leflore.
Didn't see that. I was just looking at another little radar option over here to the side, and that southern end of this cluster of storms has picked up. So that one, if it can hold together.
That's going to go out till 11:30. This includes Poto and Heavener. This is for 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail. I want to see, do they have the tag on it? No tag on it. So this is just some straight line winds continuing to push through. That southern end, the southern end of both cells kind of starting to tick back up now. Yeah,
a little bit of a hook there. Not seeing low-level rotation tightening up, but that hail core certainly picked up. We can show that. We'll go to the hail core a little bit. Again, a little bit of a notch there. Want to keep our eyes on that. That's tracking east. If it holds together, going likely between Poto, Heavener, at least the hail core. So when he puts this in motion, you're going to see that this one's ticked up, and the hail swath here across Haskell County has gone down, and that's where we saw this storm kind of pulsing up here in northeastern areas of Latimer County. Leflore County here, you've got Sebastian County, Scott County, Arkansas, Oklahoma state line, Fort Smith. These storms are likely staying just to the south. Now, you'll be on the northern end of it, but the worst of it, the potential for the winds and the hail, right now likely staying south of the Arkansas River. Let's go back to velocity if we can, and we'll just kind of keep our eye right there. Maybe a little bit of that's where that hook is right there. So we'll watch to see if we get some reds to start to develop there. Then we know we've got some tightening in the lower levels of the atmosphere trying to take place. But I'll hold my finger right there, and then we'll look at reflectivity. And I think that's where that hook is going to be. So we've got some warm air coming in, got a little bit of some rain cold air wrapping around on the backside. Got to watch this thunderstorm, see what it does. Does it try to continue to strengthen? Structure to the north has really just changed here, not looking as organized. This one starting to look a little bit more organized, Stephen.
Yeah, so the southern portion of the cell that we're watching right now, and then even further south, those storms are starting to move into kind of an untapped environment. They haven't been able to run as further as the cells further up to the north have. So again, that's why they're kind of popping up right now, flaring back up, seeing some of the stronger winds. Again, Poto, Heavener area coming down the line. That's when you're going to see that heavy rain, but also now some stronger winds. The potential of also seeing some of those hail cores just now starting off, but it could be a long track where we could see that hail core dip into Leflore.
Yeah. I think this one will likely expire a little bit. Let's go back to velocity one more time and see if we have any bright green showing up here. And we do right in there. So that's where you could have at least 40-mile-per-hour gust. I wouldn't be shocked if we had maybe a 40, 50-mile-per-hour gust in there. And being warned for the potential up to 60 miles per hour, getting very close to the end of the polygon here. So we'll see if the National Weather Service out of Tulsa extends that warning. Can you put that in motion a little bit? And we'll just look at the last couple scans. And I think you'll see the overall trend is we're not seeing those brighter colors showing up, even changing here just in the last couple of scans. This is what, 30 minutes? Is that what you have it on, a 30 minute?
15. I can set it to 30.
15. No, that's fine. Still some strong winds in there. Does it warrant a severe thunderstorm warning? Maybe not. We'll continue to watch, though. If you do live along Highway 271, though, from Spiro down towards Poto, then, hey, heads up to you. You do have some gusty winds coming in a little bit, and has a history, this area right here, of producing some hail. But right now, the hail core is really trended down. You just got some heavy rain, and you've got some strong winds that are kind of coming into the area right now. Poto, the winds are getting closer to you, still just out towards the west, but some gusty winds. And then we're going to watch this area back towards the southwest. Maybe a little bit of a hook trying to form there a little bit. We do have a hail core, though, trying to come into the LaFleur County line. We can look at reflectivity again.
So a little bit of a hook right there moving into LaFleur County. Again, maybe some slight rotation going on in upper atmosphere. But again, the wind threat and the hail threat is our main concern, not only throughout the rest of the day today, but we also are going to be watching out for every once in a while one of these cells starting to develop a little bit of a hook, just because it looks a little bit worse on rain mode reflectivity then velocity. Doesn't mean we can't see a quick spin up or two throughout the day today. This is kind of the one we're watching right now. There's not a tag on this warning for a tornado possible, but doesn't mean that we can't start to trend that direction, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. Very warm, muggy air mass in place out ahead of this. Dew points in the 70s. So again, when we talk about the dew point, you're like, what does that really matter to me? When the dew point is 60 degrees or more, that's when you start to step outside and you're like, oh, it's a little humid out here. It's a little sticky. When the dew point gets around 70 or so, it's very humid. That is, you can step outside and you can really actually feel the fuel that these storms are feeding off of. So warm, muggy environment, that definitely means we're going to continue to see these be efficient rain producers. And then we just have to continue to watch to see, can these storms tap into that extra energy that's available and try to strengthen a little bit more. But I think we have a storm here. It's looks like it's a part of the overall cluster, but it's kind of breaking apart here. And I think you have your own individual storm trying to take off. Can it become a supercell, a rotating thunderstorm? We'll have to watch and see a little bit. But there's some spin in the atmosphere here today for sure. Showers and thunderstorms weakening, and you can even see that too, just with the reds kind of disappearing. You're seeing more of those oranges and yellows taking over. So good trend here. Shower and thunderstorm weakening, not seeing as much lightning with this. It's moving towards Spiro, eventually going to be coming into Fort Smith, Van Buren. Still couldn't rule out maybe a few small hailstones trying to pulse up in there. But I feel good about this trend, overall weakening for Spiro, Highway 271. And then for Northwest Arkansas, we've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms. No longer under severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin, for Johnson, or for Madison County. Severe thunderstorm pushing deeper into the higher elevations of Newton County. So just some generic showers and thunderstorms showing up here. Higher elevations of Franklin, Johnson. Rain trying to get back down towards I-40. That's going to continue eastward. So we feel good about this. Feel good about the rain out here in Adair and Washington counties. Again, with some thunderstorms here, can't roll out a small hailstone or two mixing in, but mostly just looking at some rain and some wind gusts, but well below severe limits. That's Northwest Arkansas. Again, we're really more concerned with the environment here to the south. That's where we have these severe thunderstorm warnings stacking up in southeast Oklahoma, and they're going to continue to try to move east. That one really did kind of try to produce a hook there very quick, but cycling already again. Really, can it? That's the question. Can these storms maintain themselves? Right now, the answer is no. They've pulsed up and down. This storm was a lot stronger, now very disorganized, but was a lot stronger way out towards the west as it tracked just east, or was tracking east, and that was south of I-40. But good news for us, it has weakened.
Yeah, weakened just a bit, though we're still watching out for some strong winds coming through, the hail threat. Again, folks in northern Franklin County, maybe mixing in some hail here and there. Overall, though, the warning dropping below severe limits now for northern Franklin into northern Johnson County, portions of southeastern Madison counties, as well as those storms continue to push off towards the east. Now we're kind of turning our attention back towards two severe thunderstorm warnings that we still have right now for LaFleur County. Again, the northern half of it may be gusting out a bit, just producing some heavy rainfall. Southern end of that cell kind of producing some stronger winds, maybe some slight rotation.
Yeah, and the hail core kind of trying to pulse up and down again. It's right around LaFleur there in northwest LaFleur County. That's the hail core that we're watching. This one is fizzled out. That's just the leftover track here. And this is the new one that's kind of pulsed up. It's weakened some, but you still have those light grays making a run off towards the east. Again, good news to see the storm to the north fizzle out. They are really holding on to that warning, though, for northern LaFleur County. It expires in 5 minutes. Doesn't look like they're going to be reissuing that one. What about the one for Poto and Heavener? That one has a chance. That one goes a lot longer. That one goes for 34 more minutes. And the main threat with this one definitely looks more like that hail core that's pulsing up and down. Just went down again, which means it likely built up some hail and dropped it all out. But it could continue to try to reload there a little bit.
Yeah, so again, the warning, just want to give a heads up. Warnings in Madison, Franklin, and Johnson, those have been expired. Now we're only watching two cells that are in LaFleur County. If they extend it, we could be crossing over the state line into portions of Arkansas River Valley. So that's what we'll be watching out next if these cells can hold up on the southern end south of I-40.
Yeah, and it's possible they could continue to pulse up and down here. I think the rain and the storms are going to continue eastward.
Absolutely.
So heads up to Sebastian County, Scott County, Logan, southern Franklin. We're likely going to have some of these scattered thunderstorms coming in. Just are they going to be severe or not? And again, this one's already left the polygon, so clearly they're not going to reissue it. They would have done that by now. It expires here in just a few more minutes, and then we'll be down to just one severe thunderstorm warning in 5COUNTRY. And again, this is our commitment to you. That we will always track out these storms for you, no matter where they are in 5COUNTRY. If you can see us, we're tracking those storms. Not as organized as it looked as it kind of got going there in Latimer County, but that hail core just to the north of LaFleur there in LaFleur County. Stephen tracking this out. How fast you got it going off towards the east, Stephen?
Let's see here, 30
miles an hour?
Yeah.
That's going to put it in Pensacola around 11:17, Barling 11:33, Greenwood 11:44, Charleston 12:04, Waldron 12:25, Paris 12:39. Again, tracking out this cluster of storms. Southern end of it a little bit stronger right now. If that hail core doesn't pulse back up, that could be one where maybe we drop the warning here.
Right, so that northern end looking a little bit weaker, southern end a little bit stronger. This is set at 30 miles an hour. So again, for the most part, this cell is a slow mover right now. You've got some time of the cities that we listed here now. Pensacola, probably the closest. We're just shy of 11 right now. So Poto in the next couple minutes here, and then eventually into Pensacola in the next 15 minutes or so. As we cross over the state line into Arkansas, you definitely got some more time. But that doesn't mean we can't see this cell pulse back up. We could be talking about some strong storms moving into maybe an untapped environment or an environment that has had some time to recover.
Yeah, and this is a weather alert day for the potential of a few severe storms today. That's what we talked about this morning. Widespread severe weather not expected, but we do and did expect at least a few severe storms. Potential for it this morning and the potential for it again later on in the afternoon and evening. Can't rule out a few severe warnings. Not everyone's going to see rain and storms today, and certainly not everyone's going to see severe weather. But we have the weather alert day because we could see a few of these today. We will have the chance to see a few more strong storms late in the day tomorrow. So tomorrow, Thursday, going to be a weather alert day as it stands right now, unless something changes, where we could see a late day storm possibly trying to tick up. And right now we think it could be just a few strong to severe storms. Friday morning, There could be a cluster of storms in Kansas that come in and skirt parts of northwest Arkansas. We'll have to watch that. Maybe the rest of the day, Friday, trending down. Saturday, especially by late Saturday into Saturday night, that could be the next round of some severe weather. So we have that weather alert for late Saturday, early Sunday to account for that storm potential there. New severe thunderstorm warning here. We're just tracking out the hail core, I believe.
Yeah, they're just continuing it right now. It's still going to go out until, let me pull that up real quick. That's still going to go out until 11:30, so about another 30 minutes here. They're just redrawing some of these maps right now, trying to get some new information on it. But this one's still the stronger end on the southern end. Let me move that polygon or that text box.
And I think it's overall weakening too, because I don't even see. I mean, I think the structure looks like it's weakening. The yellows and oranges are coming down.
Right. We can look at hail.
Yeah.
Hail really starting to come down. Those gray returns coming back. Penny, nickel, maybe size hail coming down.
The gray color, that's what we're looking at right
in
there.
Extreme western LaFleur County. But those blue returns that we got back in Haskell and Latimer, that's why those warnings were triggered. But as they've pushed into LaFleur, maybe downtrend just a little bit. If we look at velocity, still some strong winds in there, definitely some lightning strikes mixed in there as well. Just a few things to watch out for right now.
At this rate, I wouldn't be shocked if we did cancel this warning, unless it pulses up quickly. I don't know that this one may last 30 minutes, the way that it's kind of trending down. Now we'll have to watch it. Again, with some of the storms up around Franklin County, maybe a few brief pockets of some hail, mostly some small hail. We're watching that. Really, any storm today has the potential to produce at least some brief small hail out there. Then a few storms will have the potential to go above that and produce maybe some larger hailstones. But right now, northwest Arkansas not under any severe warnings. River Valley not under any severe warnings in western Arkansas. Again, we do have the thunderstorm in Franklin County with some gusty winds and some pockets of small hail. And then we're watching this storm. Can we put it in motion, Stephen? And let's just look at overall the colors here. This is reflectivity, so we're looking at the rain. We're looking at the precipitation. When you see the reds and the greens, when we look at the winds, that's called velocity. But right here, we just want to overall look at the presentation of the rain. And look how it's really weakened. It is really weakened here. We are not seeing as much widespread reds or oranges. We're seeing more of those yellows taking over, even down towards the south. So I do think the good news is this is overall weakening, but it is producing a lot of heavy rain, and heavy rain kind of training over those same areas. So low-lying, poor drainage areas, going to have the possibility of seeing some minor flooding in parts of east central Oklahoma here. I think this storm continues to trend down, and we may not even make it the full 30 minutes of the warning here.
Right, so it's good signs right there. And if you notice that warning that was overlapping it just to the north of it, we hit 11 o'clock. That was allowed to expire, so now we're down to one warning. For that cell that you mentioned, Zach, is kind of showing signs of maybe breaking off just a bit. If it does get loose from that cluster, maybe we could see some storms try to fire back up from that isolated cell. When they start to get free, it creates a little bit more of some instability for it to feed off of. But at least as it holds together in that cluster right now, looking signs of weakening maybe just a tad. There is 27 minutes left on the warning. I'll be surprised if it makes it that long. But if it starts to pulse back up, we could see those winds producing up to 40, 50 miles an hour. And the hail threat, while it's really low right now, still some penny-sized hail out there that could cause some concern for some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen storms that are well below severe limits, knock down some trees, tear off some branches, knock some things around. So it can still definitely be a headache for us, even when we don't have the warning at times. That southern storm there, we're seeing that. Look at the difference here. You see all the lightning showing up, and then look at the lightning here. Not as much. Lightning has come down. Lightning still going up with that storm way off towards the south. So we're going to continue to track that. That's moving off towards Clayton. That could hold together and maybe skirt some southern portions of LaFleur County. We'll keep our eyes on that, but we're going to stay committed to this warning here. It does continue to weaken. Moving into the Poteau area now. Rain's picking up, and we're seeing the rain start to move in on the southwest side of Fort Smith over towards Pensacola. But definitely like the trends here that this storm has overall weakened. Still some gusty winds mixed in there, and at least some brief pockets of some small hail. smell. Lightning not showing up as much, but there's some stronger parts of this storm for sure. Again, reminder: thunderstorm watch out for the I-40 corridor south, and that'll go until
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Yeah, so that's going to last a while.
Yeah, so again, right now, and you hear us talk about this every once in a while. I'll go ahead and pull up the watch behind you here, Zach, and we'll get a wider view of this. You hear about us say this phrase: whatever happens with the first time we get some storms in the morning is going to depend how strong the storms are in the evening. We've had some strong storms so far this morning, but if we can get some sunshine to break out later today, if we can get some clearing from this rain, we could see some strong storms fire back up heading into the afternoon and the evening hours. It's just a waiting game right now. We're now casting instead of forecasting for what's to come the rest of the week. Still some strong storms potential out there.
Why don't we do this? You can go down the show there and get the future track radar, and it should just kind of be set. The times little stamps will be a little off, or the little pause points, but we can kind of take a look at this. It automatically updates for us, and this is going to use one of our short range models that overall I feel like has done a decent job, but you might have to back it up a little bit. And let's kind of play it out and see what it thinks moving forward. So this is at 11 a.m.
So that's right now.
Yeah.
A little bit less than this, but still signs of where those storms are moving into.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too far off. And we can see some of those brighter colors showing up. So that's going to continue eastward here over the next couple of hours. Still wanting to give us a break here, a lull in the activity as we get into the early afternoon hours. And then let's see what it tries to do here as we go late afternoon, maybe after 5 o'clock, trying to pulse up a few thunderstorms to the south. Rain's probably not going to be too widespread. But that's all you need. Some of those isolated to scattered thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening. If these can get going, again, the potential for some damaging hail cores and some gusty winds. So that's good news. We're not looking at right now widespread rainfall redeveloping for the evening hours, but certainly the potential of a few storms in there, and that we'll have to keep our eyes on those to see if any of those get strong. And then as we go into the overnight hours, has been wanting to redevelop some thunderstorms to the south along that frontal boundary, but we'll have to see. It looks like right now it's kind of going away from that. Still a few scattered showers possible. So we've had a 70% chance of scattered showers. So we talk about the coverage here for this morning. And then as we go into the afternoon, we'll go late afternoon, evening, maybe more of a 50% chance of a isolated scattered thunderstorm. So meaning not everyone's going to see the rainfall. As we go overnight, we can continue about a 30% chance of an isolated thunderstorm, and then as we get into tomorrow, try to fire up some more storms later on.
Canceled.
Good news.
Canceled. So now we are warning free across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. We were kind of mentioning it how we couldn't see the hail, we couldn't see the winds. So we were waiting on it for it to be canceled. They canceled it 24 minutes early. So good news is, again, I want to show you why this was sparked. For folks who are wondering why was it canceled so quickly, when we look at the hail, that blue that you see in Latimer County, that's why that warning was sparked. But then it fizzled out very quickly to the point where we probably had maybe some penny-sized hail, but then almost nothing at all as it crept towards Poto and Heavener area. So the hail is why that warning was issued. Now that it's dropped off, they're going to go ahead and cancel that early. If we take a wider look, I'll pop back on reflectivity here. We'll take a look area-wide. Heavy rainfall, scattered, a lot of it scattered. Nothing's really organized right now across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley south of Fayetteville, seeing some rain, and really moving into the Fort Smith area right now. You're going to see some heavy rainfall, maybe a strong wind gust or two, but overall everything is non-severe as it stands right now. Yeah,
so I think we can go ahead. We can jump off of social media. We'll catch our breath. We need to do that at times, and we're going to keep our eyes on the radar as we go through the day. Not everyone's going to see severe weather. We're not expecting widespread severe weather, but just like we saw this morning, can't rule out a strong storm or two, and we're always going to cover those for everyone in 5 countries. So if we get some more stronger storms to pulse up today, we will be the first to let you know. And again, weather alert day, potential of a strong storm or two today. Weather alert day tomorrow, could see some stronger storms later in the day on Thursday. And we're going to continue to assess as we go into a big holiday weekend here, Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people are outdoors, right? Unofficial start to summer. So we know that a lot of people are making outdoor plans. Right on cue, or right in par with it being the unofficial start to summer. you start thinking summer, you think about the chance for some thunderstorms to mix in. We do have that chance, not calling it a washout for the weekend at all, but we do have the chance for some thunderstorms this weekend. So the weather team's going to continue to break down that important forecast for you too. So we'll go ahead, we'll jump off here. Stephen, I'll let you go ahead and close it out, and we will keep you updated if more storms strengthen as we go through the day.